Back again, uncovering some fire picks for the UFC fight night. Costa versus Vettori. Got to be honest, not the most impressive prelims or even main card here. A little bit more star power in the main event with Paulo Costa versus Vettori. Both guys coming off of a loss to the champ in Israel Adesanya. I honestly had a tough time finding some strong betting opportunities in this card. A lot of unknowns coming into it. But I'll start us off with my least confident pick of the night, but still have confidence in it. Still a bet that I'm going to be putting down is Seungwoo Choi against Alex Caceres. Alex Caceres, Bruce Leroy. He's been on a bit of a tear recently. I think he's on a 4-fight win streak, but has always been one of the journeyman guys. He's never a guy who has ascended into any type of contendership status, and has always kind of been one of those Jim Millery types that will forever have a bunch of fights in the UFC, will forever be a legend, but never really made that break to the next highest level of the UFC. And he's going against a Korean in Seungwoo Choi, who has showed he's got some crisp ass hands, decent enough takedowns and takedown defense and grappling to be able to utilize that against people who are predominantly strikers. Definitely going to be on the less skilled end if he's going against a grappler. But you look at Seungwoo Choi's fights with Julian Erosa, who is seen be a firecracker. A lot of people have trouble even surviving with him at the lighter weights. A lot of times people don't get as finished as much, but Julian Erosa is out finishing people, and Seungwoo Choi was able to put him down in the first round. And if you go back and watch that fight, his hands and his timing were great. I think Seungwoo Choi is a good Korean prospect coming up as a name to keep an eye on. And then you just think of Alex Caceres. Like, this would mean if he wins this, Alex Caceres would be on a 5-fight win streak. And in 2021, after Caceres made his UFC debut, how long ago did he was on The Ultimate Fighter in 2010. So I just can't see myself saying in 2021, or a reporter saying Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres is on a 5-fight win streak. I think this is where the win streaks gets halted against Seungwoo Choi, who's coming in at not the worst odds. Moving to my fourth most confident pick here, I like Negumereanu over Ike Vilenaeva. Ike Vilenaeva is a dangerous kind of brawler type, but definitely doesn't have the best defense or striking skill, or really all-around MMA skill, but he's very he's got a fighter's spirit, a fighter's heart, and that can be dangerous for some people. Now, Nick Negumereanu is definitely also has that fighter's heart. He's a dude from Romania, has a little bit of wrestling to fall back on, had some good takedowns in the clinch against Alexa Kamer, who is shown to be a bright, young prospect. Just a ton of youthful energy and good Golden Gloves boxing to fall back on. And Nick Negumereanu was able to figure that puzzle out, and his striking defense is horrible. Nick's striking defense is absolutely terrible, but he showed he has a chin of steel. He's just got that Eastern European, I don't even know where the hell Romania is, but you know what I'm saying. There's that steel iron jaw that they'll walk through anything to land their big punches, and he kind of has a style that seems like he should gas out really quickly. Especially against a guy like Alexa Kamer, who will push the pace on him. But he stayed with his power. He stayed throwing his shots to the end of the fight, which ended up winning him the decision. Ike Vilenaeva, I don't think is going to push that kind of pace on Negumereanu, and because of that, I think he's going to get less tired. He's going to carry more power into those second and third rounds. He's showed that he's not going to get dropped or hurt unless it's. I shouldn't even say unless it's, because I haven't seen any examples or proof that any strike, a big head kick or whatever, is going to drop him. I haven't seen him get dropped in any of his fights that I've watched. Now, he also has a great ground game. There's definitely a path to success for Nick if he gets a takedown against the fence and either works for a submission on a tired Ike Vilenaeva or a volume punches. But I think he also has a path to victory on the feet. Vilenaeva's offensive or striking defense is horrible also. And he showed that he definitely does not have the chin that Nick does. So I like Nick Negumereanu to either win a confident decision after putting a kind of slower pace, but landing heavy shots on Ike Vilenaeva, and Ike Vilenaeva being able to have that kind of brawlers. He's just got a big ass head too, to just kind of survive that. I can see Nick taking him down and submitting him or punching him out there. There's a lot of ways that I can see this fight going, but almost all of them go to Nick Negumereanu. So he's my fourth most confident pick of the night. I'm pretty confident he's going to be able to get it done. All right, my third and fourth pick are going to be roped into a parlay here. I'm trying a different technique with this because every year or two, year and a half, there seems to be a new camp, a new coach, a new corner that is doing everything right. It seems like they're guys from their UFC vets that have been in it for a while that start rising to a contendership or championship status, and then they bring in some of their guys off the regional scene, and they are also picking up wins and having great performances. And, a year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, that was Trevor Whitman for me. You got Rose Namajunas, Justin Gaethje, some other guys that were coming up through the regional scene, and now Kamaru Usman, who have all just skyrocketed success after, kind of being in his corner. So that guy for me in the last year and a half has been James Krause at Glory MMA. Just, I feel like has been doing everything right with all of his fighters, has really amounted a huge stable of fighters while showing that he's a badass by around every corner. He says the right things after one of his fighters loses or he makes a mistake. He steps in when somebody misses weight, and he's there to corner one of his fighters, coach one of his fighters, and somebody else on the card misses weight and he steps in. I think James Krause just is doing the right thing, and he's not cutting any corners with anything. So I got a ride James Krause parlay here with Jeff Molina and Grant Dawson. Now I'll start with Molina, coming off of a really crazy fight against Ari Liang, a Chinese striker who really for 15 minutes did not change his pace at all whatsoever. Had really technical striking, threw hard, had the size and power advantage over Molina, really laid him on him in the first round and a half. But Molina showed awesome fight IQ, awesome durability. Like I said, doesn't really have sledgehammers in his hands, but he found his moments to time the relentless strikes of Liang, and found his counters to find his moment, to win his moments in the fight that would win it on the judges' scorecards and would win it for everybody watching at home. I feel like he probably got out volume struck in that fight, in the Liang fight. But like I said, he found those moments for his big punches to really do the more damage to put Liang on his ass. So with all this being said, I like Jeff Molina with James Krause in his corner. I think he has such great fight IQ. I think he's young and hungry. He's not afraid to bang. He's got Krause in his corner. He's at Glory, so he's always probably going to be getting better. And he's going against a UFC debutant in Daniel Lacerda from Brazil, who showed that he can TKO people and submit them. So definitely a dangerous guy to be going up against. But I think Molina's toughness, fight IQ, and UFC experience is going to be able to weather the storms and the bad situations, especially if it goes to the ground with Daniel Lacerda. And I think he'll be able to, especially at these later weights, eat whatever Lacerda has to throw at him and figure out how to solve that puzzle afterwards. So I like Jeff Molina for the first half of this parlay for those reasons. I also can see, if you're looking for a little bit better prop money, a third round KO for Molina. You got a debutant who's probably gonna not be in the best shape, have some jitters, have a big adrenaline dump in the first round or two. I think Molina will be able to survive those two and win the second and third, or the second half of the third, or second half of the second round and all of the third. So I think it's a good chance that Lacerda gasses out and Molina stays that calm, calculated killer and gets a KO in the third. But staying a little safer with the first half of this parlay and Molina by money line. Now the next Glory MMA, James Krause. Fighter on the card is Grant Dawson. I believe he's in the co-main event. Yep, against Ricky Glenn. Now Grant Dawson's a dude. He's only got one loss. He's not been fighting the most known fighters, but they're damn good fighters in the UFC. Julian Erosa, Derek Minner, Nad Narimani's very good, Leonardo Santos very good, and has quietly been amounting a 5-fight win streak and it showed really he's better at grappling and that more controlling takedown game, work against the fence game, but he's definitely showed some progress in his hands. I think you take these, much like Molina, you take these young dudes and you give them a real wizard like James Krause, and you start to get their IQ and their brain up to their youthful hunger, and they can become really dangerous. I like Grant Dawson in this one. Like I said, Ricky Glenn is also is shown in this last fight that he can be a really dangerous striker. Now, his career hasn't shown that. You go back to the last 10 fights before that, hasn't really showed too much, one-shot power or just really elite striking like he showed in the Joaquin Silva fight. So definitely I think Rick Glenn is going to have the advantage on the feet, but I think Grant Dawson has too many other weapons in his arsenal, like his cage wrestling, his grappling on the ground, scrambles, and cardio over Rick Glenn. And again, just riding on that James Krause Glory MMA along with the two Molina and Dawson money lines. Fifth bet of the card, my most confident, think it's a lock for the value and for the reasons I'm about to list here, is Gregory Rodriguez over Jun-Young Park. Now, Greg Rodriguez is a jiu-jitsu black belt. He's been doing it his whole life, came to America to teach it. He's been nasty at that, young enough, and has been involved in MMA young enough to establish a sick striking game now. I said it last week with Dana Batgarel that he looks like he's made out of wood, and the same thing with Greg Rodriguez. The dudes just are ripped, and when they land, they seem to have so much impact. And especially with Greg Rodriguez, is he throws really straight punches. He has very technical striking on top of his physicality and great grappling base. Jun-Young Park is on a nice win streak of his own. I believe he's got 3 wins in the UFC after losing his debut to Anthony Hernandez. But Jun-Young Park has been going against dudes who don't do the best with grappling. Has showed that he can kind of take people down and just keep them there for a while. You look at the John Phillips fight, had some good success with that, and landed some damage in that fight too, to be fair. But I think Greg Rodriguez's jiu-jitsu background, A, is going to be able to throw up some threats of a submission for Jun-Young Park if he winds up on top. B, he has an awesome hip throw with the whizzer when people come in and try to take him down against the fence, which I assume is going to be Jun-Young Park's probably method to success for a takedown in this fight. And so he's got that to his arsenal, and he's got good defensive wrestling. And I'm going to give Gregory Rodriguez the much bigger advantage on the feet over Jun-Young Park. So with all of that being said, it's Wednesday. Gregory Rodriguez is a plus 100 underdog. I'm super happy with that plus money. I predict it's going to go down to favorite money as the week progresses. But if you can get him, if you see this early enough, I am loving Greg Rodriguez as my number 1 confident pick of the week, my lock of the week for underdog money. He's got great defense on the ground, great offense on the ground. He's got much better striking than Jun-Young Park. I think in really any way this fight goes, I think Greg Rodriguez is going to be able to get it done. Goddamn, I hate doing this, but if you win a couple bucks from me or you like what I'm doing here, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know if you think I'm half a dumbass for some of the picks I've made, or maybe you think there's some picks I missed that you're going to be making a play on. But either way, I'll be here every week trying to put some money in my pocket and yours. So if you could like or subscribe or give me some more of that traction, that'd be greatly appreciated. Until next week, I'm Ian Walsh for the Dr. Stoppage Betting Show, and good luck, everybody.